You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dinny Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Yo, what is up, and welcome to another awesome episode of Vigilantes Radio. I'm your host, dini-mussolini, and right now there's over 31,000 of you guys on the phone line, in the chat room, using Google Hangouts or Skype or the browser, all the plugins that I use to run these live episodes. You guys are filling them up, and I appreciate that greatly. We have a very special guest, one that you guys should be familiar with, so stick around for that, and I will have to apologize in advance. I'm a little bit under the weather, so you may can hear it in my voice sound a little nasally or congested or stuffed, whatever, whatever they call it these days. That is me. Kids, I tell you, and the school's starting back, so they bringing home all kind of things. I mean, I just need to quarantine those guys, just ship them off to another part of the house there. Anyway, someday you'll discover that living brings more fulfillment than buying. Someday you'll realize that each day is a golden treasure, far too precious to be wasted pursuing someone else's idea of happiness. Someday you'll discover that you've already had enough and will spend your time being rather than getting. Someday you'll understand the reality of taking shortcuts and will hunger for more solid nourishment of living with integrity. Someday you'll experience the magnificent abundance which comes from giving of yourself. Someday you'll live each moment with a purpose, with a passion. That someday is coming. There's nothing stopping it but you. Someday life will be filled with joy and meaning. That someday can be today. So guys, why don't you live it? It is yours. Take that from me, dini-mussolini. That is my word, and word is bond.
You're live in the mix. Let's get this started.
Yo, hello, and welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Music, or Inside the Book, Inside the Business, where we dive into the minds of the people who create marvelous things. It feels so good to be back with you guys once again. So one time for my people who are indigos, crystalline, or starseeds, or for my Vigilantes audience family, and 2 times for my people who are vegetarian or vegans. If you're like me, we are averaging over 37,000 live listeners, and we've been at this for 4 solid years. I appreciate all you guys who've been rocking with the kid on this journey, and we are still evolving, baby. It is all because of you, most definitely. We are the people who have dedicated their lives to music, spirituality, business, literature, art, movies, and research in every aspect, and we want to allow you an opportunity to tell your story. Man, we've had celebrities on our show, from Grammy Award-winning artists to nominees to actors, comedians, CEOs, technology geniuses, visual artists, from authors to professors and aliens. Or people who think they're aliens. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. Come on our show and talk to me. So check it out. To book an interview or just to share a real cool story, email me at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. And that's V as in Victor. I'm passionate about what I do, just as passionate about what you do, and together Yes, together we can get your voice heard by the people who should hear it. So let's create something incredible. You know the number to dial, 701-801-9813. Text that number to your buddy right now and tell them to tune in to connect with us or our guests, or you can hop in the mix directly from our website, onlyonemediagroup.com. Right from the homepage, you can slap that go live button and you'll be right here live in the mix and in the chat room with all of us. Feel free to shoot over some questions to ask our guests while they are here, but only as time permits. Sometimes my guests and I talk entirely too much and we take up the entire hour. And as always, all episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/onlyonemediagroup, iTunes, YouTube, or any app from the Google Play or iTunes Store or over at our website. And that goes for every single episode that we ever aired.
What is up, guys? Today's interview is the Anshil Popli interview. And again, I'm your host, dini-mussolini. So our interviews go beyond the music, the books, the movies, the businesses, and into the minds of the artists or people who create these marvelous aspirations. From researching our special invited guests, mining for details, and listening or watching or stalking, and lack of terms, doing my job researching. Yeah, that's what we'll call it, researching, not stalking. That's a bad word these days. Well, we do everything we can. Our interviews are designed to bring out the best answers possible through provoking questions that have real substance. A sincere warm welcome to Anshil to our show this late evening. We'll have an absolutely amazing time talking with him about all sorts of cool things that are going on with him right now. If you remember, he was here, representing a company once before, Kinsu Visual, and then he branched out on his own and then came back and told us about that. That was awesome to hear about. And now he's back again, This guy is steadily improving his business and his brand, and I'm sure you guys will start to learn this name. If you haven't already, there's so many of you guys on the phone lines. You're breaking the internet. And I know you're not here for me. Why would you be here for Dini? No. So you got to be here for Anshil. So with that, let's go ahead and welcome him to the show. Hey, man, you're now live in the midst with all of us. How's it going, my friend?
Pretty good. How about you, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing okay. No complaints, man.
Well, good. I heard you were a little under the weather. Hope everything's okay on that side of town.
Yeah, man, adoring kids and bringing home all their germs and whatnot, and all that stuff. So just dealing with that as we usually do.
Most definitely. And I just had my nephew about 7 months ago, so I'm right there with you.
Right on. So how's everything going with you, man?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain. Just, work and more work. It just really never ends. So just trying to stay on top of the ball, create new cool stuff, and keep the momentum going.
Most definitely. All right. So what's new, man? Since the last time we spoke, you were doing the videography for artists, having a lot of photos session for artists of your city, the Bay Area, correct?
Right. Yeah, most definitely. I still am doing that. That stands true from the last time we spoke. I'm just still trying to, artists are getting bigger out here, and we're just trying to show that we have a really talented community here. And the Bay Area is so big that just really trying to bring people together and do it the right way.
Most definitely. Pretty soon you're going to be the go-to guy for that. How big is the music scene there? And are you just working with musicians or anybody?
Yeah. I would say for the most part I'm working with musicians. I would say anybody is included. That just happens to be, where time and circumstance placed me. But I would definitely love to work with some of the local businesses out here because I think they're doing really cool things, especially in Oakland. I think, this is a place that is changing a lot for the worse, but you're seeing a lot of young people come up from nothing really and just share their creative ideas with the world. So seeing that develop is always really, really, really cool. And yeah, I would love to work with them as well.
What do you mean by changing for the worse? Like, what's going on in the Bay?
Oh, well, the Warriors, people aren't happy about it right now. The fact that they're going to San Francisco and the tickets are going to be off the roof. Nobody's really happy about any of the changes in the Bay Area, especially the people that have been here, including myself for a long time, because all of a sudden it's just, we can't buy homes. We can barely afford rent. And, just a crazy time to be around.
Yeah. So the economics of the city does affect your work in some form or fashion?
Yeah, I would say in a good way right now, because, we're so desperate to break out of the cycle presented in front of us that you're seeing a lot more creative fuel come to the forefront. And I would say, obviously none of us enjoy it and we wish things were different, but I'd be lying if I said it doesn't put a spark under all of our ashes, really.
Yeah. I could imagine. And through your lens, you're capturing, the emotion of the city through these musicians?
Yeah, I would say so. One thing my bro Ian Kelly told me is he's like, bro, the reason why I always want to shoot with you is because you're capturing a lot of life and it looks very real. So I try to keep that in mind, and it's not really something I force. It's just the way I see things. I try not to, nothing's pretty. Nothing's meant to be just purely beautiful for the most part when I'm doing portraits, especially. So I just try to keep that realistic aspect of it. When we hit the streets, we mob around and we find cool stuff to shoot.
Most definitely. And what gave you the idea to explore this particular avenue with your brand?
I would say I'd be lying if I had a clever response saying, this was that avenue that that I explored and it was deliberate. I believe we're all products of what time and circumstance make us. And I think for me exploring this, I've been a huge hip hop, rap fan, whatever you want to call it, since I've been a child. So it only seemed right to get into that, using my art skills, and, people ended up liking it. And, that's the feedback I've heard in terms of you're capturing real life rather than, glamorizing it. So, that's the feedback I've heard. And, I'm just trying to keep that in mind as I move forward. But none of it was intended to be this way.
Most definitely. And I'm going to go on a limb here, man. When are you going to step behind the microphone?
Never.
What?
Yeah, never. I think,
I know you got some hidden talent in there. So.
No. I write, but that's about it.
What do you write?
I write screenplays and stuff, short stories, things like that. But as far as music, I don't think that's for me at all. If I did want to get into music, I definitely would not be rapping. I would be a producer. But I've never touched that, and I have no idea, the first thing about making a beat. So I'll leave that to the people that do it best.
Most definitely. So what about doing business outside of the Bay? Are your sights set for different regions?
Yeah, so I did get to travel to New York with a group named Cooley High. Definitely a big portion. Oh, really? Yeah. Shout out Cooley High. They're great people that flew me out to New York. They had a show in Manhattan, and we have fun. as I have a bunch of artists in North Carolina under Jamla Records, including Ian Kelly, Quentin Thomas, GQ, and just a bunch of folk out there. Rhapsody just dropped her new album. I've never worked with her, but I would love to. And they're all label mates, so I would love to go out there and, work for them one of these days.
Most definitely. All right. Yeah, Cool House is a cool group.
Yeah, man. They're real good people, too.
Yeah. All right. So, have you also increased your product line? I think you're doing music videos now, correct?
Yeah, I am. But I'm selective with them.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
So to further clarify, I was doing so much in such a short period of time, and really just pumping out videos left and right for really financial gain. I didn't like a lot of what I was putting forward and what I got to work with. So nowadays I'm a little pickier, and I really want to get to know the artist and what they're really trying to accomplish before signing up for something.
Yeah. Most definitely. All right. What's the whole process of music video? Are you doing storyboard as well, or are you collaborating with artists on the idea? How does that work? I never knew.
It really depends on the song. Some things are more effects heavy, and the overall objective of it is to make it look cool, which I do enjoy, but it takes planning as well. And storyboarding or making a shot list, what I usually do, because I can't draw good enough to make a decent storyboard, is I usually just make a shot list and plan out what effects I want and where. And really just trying to get that together. So even if the objective is to make it look cool, I have a clear vision on how to do that instead of just kind of winging it. As far as the storyboard goes overall, if I'm trying to tell a story, I definitely want to rely less on performance shots. So I have a couple things coming out with an artist named Brookfield Deuce, who we've done a couple of those, and that was a very intensive process over the course of 4 to 5 days, 2 of which were going to find a group of pigeons for a certain shot. So there's a lot of planning involved that on the surface may not be seen, but there's definitely time and energy that goes into it.
Most definitely. All right. Good deal. What's next, man, on the horizon?
I really want to do a short film, and I can't reveal many details yet, but I got it all written out, and I just gotta genuinely pitch it to the people who I want to act in it. And the best part is they wouldn't really be acting, and it's kind of a story of growing up and going through different stages in the Bay Area. I remember a lot of things from my childhood, and basically just trying to tell our story in different stages.
Most definitely. Okay. Do you have any influences from photographers that are kind of established that kind of influence your work a little bit?
Yeah. 13th is most definitely. I think he's the pioneer of street photography in general. Trash Hand, another just legend. There's a Serbian dude named Boogie who's just insane. His photo books are beautiful and disgusting at the same time. And I would say those 3 really made me want to do especially street photography on a more higher scale.
Yeah. Okay. And with the music industry, it has been changing a lot, mostly dealing with the internet and, the iPhone becoming a universal tool for music videos and photography itself. The landscape is changing to more technology-based industry. Does it affect your work at all?
I would say gear is getting better and cheaper, but it's still expensive. I'm a firm believer that what you got is the best equipment out there. I don't try to, make excuses for lack of anything, and I don't think anybody should. Like, if you have an iPhone, you can take a beautiful picture or make a video on an iPhone. And, of course, you're going to have your limitations, but I think it's made the overall objective a little easier. Like, 10 years ago, I was buying a camera now that the specs on it don't even exist anymore for much more than a higher-end camera now. So I would say accessibility's gotten good, and, with that obviously comes saturation, but I think if you're trying to set yourself apart and if you do a good job, you're not really worried about saturation because, things come in waves and people go through phases, and I've never really been worried about it.
Most definitely. Has your gear changed since this new?
Yeah. I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but I've gone Sony for video. I'm still loyal to Canon for photo, but really it's just once I got used to it, they do things on a Sony that you just can't on another camera in such a small, compact body.
Most definitely. Okay. I mean, what's the big difference in that?
So a Sony is mirrorless, which most DSLRs, or all DSLRs, have a mirror in them, so they're able to compact everything into a small body, create superb low light performance, and push next level technology into a really small piece of hardware.
Okay. What do you use for lighting?
I'm sorry, what do I use for what?
Lighting.
Oh, so it really depends. If I'm doing something in studio, I have construction lights that I actually bounce off foam. I use those if I need to really light a room up, or sometimes I'll use smaller LEDs if I'm doing outdoor stuff. So it varies with each shoot. Like if I need to do a big room, definitely construction light. Smaller space, I can get away with the LEDs and prefer the look of them.
Wow. Are you also involved in print?
In print?
Yeah, like somehow when I think of photography, I think of like, the red room or the dark room.
Oh, yeah, like film. So I have shot film many times. Yeah, I have shot film many times. It's an expensive hobby, and professionally it doesn't work as much, just because, people want a lot of stuff when you have a shoot. And if you're giving them two things, because, you have a roll of 36 and that's all you got at the time, and 2 out of those 36 came out good, then, your clients aren't going to like that very much. But I did, I made prints of all my digital stuff for a pop-up shop I had in January. And
okay. Yeah. So one final question for you, man. How important is fine arts to your life?
Since it is my life and I don't really exist outside of it, I would say very important. I really have given up a lot of things, including socializing on a regular, just to pursue this full time. So I would say it is, unfortunately, for better or worse, most days I enjoy it. Some days I wish I was doing something else if I could.
Yeah. It's understandable. Yeah, most definitely. Well, Anshil, man, it's always a pleasure, man, to catch up with you. Let our listeners know where they can connect with you on the internet, and also give them your website.
Yeah. Okay, so on the internet, on Instagram, Twitter, whatever you do use, I can be found at Kaybalion VFX, AYBALION VFX. And my website, if you want to see a grip of my portfolio and get to know me a bit better, is Popli, Popli, Anshil, ANSHIL.com.
Most definitely. All right. And listeners, just in case you need those links, I do have them in the show notes and in the description. So all you have to do is click those links and they'll take you right to it. Well, thank you so much, man. I really enjoyed it, and I always look forward to catching up with you, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Most definitely. Enjoy your day.
Yeah, you too, man. Thank you.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/only1mediagroup, iTunes, YouTube, any app that's on a Google Play or iTunes store, or our website. And that goes from every single episode that we've ever aired. If you'd like to request music or a particular guest or send something for me to play, email it to vradio@only1mediagroup.com. If it's music, please label it by artist and title. Here's my disclaimer. We are genre free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay but facts alone. And actually, you can scratch all of that because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Nah, just kidding. On behalf of myself, Dini-Mussolini, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, as well as Spreaker. We always follow back. That is the number one rule. Okay, well, just remember to be yourself and be absolutely great at just doing that. Avoid being too comfortable because you're messing with your potential when you do that. Peace and have a good night.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.